Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for what we dubbed the game of the season of Post Esports League. I'm Loic. I am today accompanied once again by Daniel and Noah. Hello.
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 And yeah, so today we have a very exciting match to be played, which is Outplay Esports against Brotherhood of the Red Lions. Let's say the two big teams this season here.
Yeah,
And,
definitely. I mean, this is the confrontation, I feel like. I think it's going to be the toughest match in the entire season. Or not the toughest match in the entire season, but it's like a very interesting match because Outplay was, from the beginning on, traded as the unbeatable team, and now they are facing the apparently second best team. At least some might say so. And yeah, I'm really excited.
Yes, and I think in general we're now hitting a spot in this Post Esports League where a lot of important matches are going to be played. We have this one today, which actually marks, let's say, the first match of Outplay Esports where they play one of those stronger teams. Because up to now, they played, I think, Dadana team, North Bronzeside, Team Kaio. But now they're playing Brotherhood of the Red Lions, and the next matches will also be against Corona Difference and Royal Family, I think. So, which are the three teams which are at second spot in this tournament. So it is a very interesting match, in my opinion, which is going to come up. And also, the next few weeks are going to be just as interesting. But indeed, this is the match today.
Yeah, I feel also Outplay had a really easy start into the season, and now they've come to a point where they really have to prove that they are the favorite in this league.
Guys, you can vote in chat right now for who you think is going to win the first game, either Outplay or Brotherhood of the Red Lion. Talking also about both teams, both Brotherhood and Outplay were the first teams to qualify even for the season. They were the winning teams of the first qualifiers, and let's see how they match up against each other. I think last time when they played against each other, Outplay came out ahead. Maybe we will see something different today.
Yeah, so they already faced each other in the qualifiers, and their Outplay came out ahead. I think they even played twice, and Outplay came ahead twice.
No, I think it was only one game.
Was it only one game?
Yes, it was only one game.
Yeah, and we also talked to Wafal, the coach of Team Brotherhood of the Red Lion, and he said that they are not really calculating with a win today, but they would be happy if they could get a 1-1 out of this.
Yes, I think it's also a very important match for them because it's kind of they can use these matches the two they have today against Outplay to kind of test the grounds and see what that team does. And I think that is also one of the things he mentioned because I don't think they had many encounters up to now.
Those two teams? No, they didn't.
There was only one.
And maybe some scrims behind the scenes.
Yeah, that might be actually.
And we're in the champ select, and we can see already two very strong target bans right off the bat from Outplay here, which are Lulu and Morgana, which are champs that Ritsu, the support of Brotherhood of the Red Lion, is really strong with, in my opinion. We saw him play Lulu last week, and in my opinion, he was just a force of nature. This guy can keep his AD carry alive with those champions, and very good bans on their side.
I think you also looked it up, and he had around 156 assists
152, I think it was. So
or 152. So 19 assists, or it would come up to 19 assists per game.
which is in my
So
opinion quite impressive for some of those games.
well, it's a lot of kill participation for an AD,
Mhm.
for support.
Yeah. Also very interesting is the
Mm,
Ornn ban, in my opinion, because Dynank, the top laner of Outplay Esports, he really likes to play those bruiser champions, where he can dominate the lane and get out ahead and get a good lead out of his laning phase. And I feel like Ornn is one of the best champions to set up against bruisers, because Ornn is just so tanky that even bruisers can't really dominate him in the lane.
That's
And
true.
that's also what he picked now. He got Gangplank for his top lane.
Yeah,
Very lane dominant champion.
I like the pick. I'm starting to play more GP. He has a lot of potential, and since people started playing him somewhat AP, depending on the enemy team compositions, how they fight. For example, I think a criteria for an AP Gangplank game would be to have a lot of melee champs or auto-attacking champs, which right now Olaf and Aurelia fall into that criteria. So something like an Liandry's Torment, maybe even what was it, Luden's Echo, could work. But overall, I think he will go either for a crit build, which seems more likely than a lethality build on GP.
Yes,
Yeah, and
indeed.
quick update on the poll we made. A lot of you guys are rooting for Outplay Esports. That we can see also see in the chat hashtag OP wall. So a lot of Outplay fans here today. Gonna see. Also, TSK Sabo seems to be rooting for Tim, and they're saying that this is all gonna be about junglers. What do you guys think? I feel like jungle is a very important role overall at the moment.
Well, a
Well,
good jungler can nowadays easily set the pace for a whole game, if they're really good. And I think we have both teams with quite outstanding junglers actually. Tim Shady was, after all, crowned MVP
right.
once, and I think Damandre also has had some very impressive matches up to now. So yeah, definitely two very strong players, and they could indeed define the whole game.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as Loic. Both teams should hope for, let's say, a good jungle time, because in both scenarios, the junglers might even have the highest pressure on them because of the objectives also. So if you see a Trundle getting ahead of an Olaf, they can fight each other, but overall the jungler is going to do the pace for the objectives like Rift Heralds and Drakes. Later on Baron and Elder Drake. And in both cases, in my opinion, the jungle will have a very big importance in the matchup of Brotherhood against Outplay.
And
Okay.
I think
And both junglers have been equipped now with Olaf on Team Shady's side and Trundle on Dame and Ray's side. Which jungler do you guys feel like is better equipped here? Which champion is more dominant currently in the meta?
It's difficult to say. Trundle is strong. His kit is very good for clear speed, chasing down people, and against tanks. He likes fighting tanks, especially because of his ultimate. On the other hand, we have Olaf, who I would assume remains unbeaten on a 1v1 in the jungle in the early game because of his passive, giving him a lot of attack speed, the insane damage of his Q, and the reset capability of the Q. Maybe also the E with the true damage.
There's definitely. I think that pre-6 Olaf definitely has the upper hand if it comes to a 1v1. And I think with those two champions, which are very aggressive junglers in the jungle itself, it might come to those kind of confrontations. And especially, I think Olaf and Trundle are two of the best jungle champions when it comes to dominating objectives like Drake or Herald. They can quite early on just solo Drake. So we'll have to watch out for those sneaky objectives in the early game.
Yeah, for Trundle, I don't know how early he can do it, but I
Not
know
not
that Olaf can do it starting level 4.
yeah.
Technically, an Olaf could do Drake at level 4, move to Herald and do Herald with level 5, or just
And
go base and then do Herald with level 5. That's possible with an Olaf.
yeah, Olaf can start very early on, and Trundle not quite as early, but he's still the kind of jungler who can do it
Yeah, his
without any issues.
especially because of his W giving him
Yeah.
a lot of attack speed, and his Q. I don't know if his Q steals AD from monsters. I know it does from champions.
Well,
I think it
enough
doesn't.
to know about jungle, I would say. Something really interesting I just noticed is that Borderwood of the Red Lions, they didn't switch the Kog'Maw to Rekuzi. So they just switched players from the AD carry role and the top lane role.
Yes, it's very interesting actually. I also didn't see up to now.
I saw it and I figured. I'm not sure if they are going to put Irelia on top lane, or they did it because they want Kog'Maw against GP.
I don't think that they are going to play a Kog'Maw top lane. But I know that Impact Rekuzi has been playing top lane back then when he was still playing for Impact, or when Impact
Yeah.
was still a team. So he is used to playing top lane as well. And apparently, I feel like they just made the decision to swap the players to different lanes right there. Which is really interesting because the Kog'Maw pick, and I felt like, okay, they're going to do this Kog'Maw pick again that they showed us last week. But last week, Rekuzi was playing the Kog'Maw pick, and it's
Yeah.
quite an unusual pick, to be honest. And I felt like, okay, that's more of a player thing to do. Like if you feel as a player really comfortable on to play Kog'Maw. But now they are giving it to even another champion. So yeah.
Yeah, but looking at the enemies, they have Kog'Maw is good because of his W giving him extended range, so he can try to deny the barrels to Gangplank. He has or should have a good time against Trundle with his W, having percent health max health damage, I think. Same goes for Nautilus. So both tanks, even though they can try to get to him, he is a potential small counter to them because of his W. So in that case, it actually is good for them to have him. Something like a Wayne would also have worked. But then we also have LeBlanc and Misfortune. Misfortune having a good amount of range with her E. LeBlanc just being an assassin, potentially maybe going to one-shot Kog'Maw later on.
Yes, and I think they're also once again gonna go for kind of a protect the president, president being Kog'Maw in this case, like they did last week, as they have picked Karma, who is really good at protecting her AD carry as a champ too, with her abundance of shields. So if all goes well for them, we might see once again a Kog'Maw who can just shred through the enemy lines, and that could be quite interesting.
If it gets to that point, yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start into this exciting confrontation
No, we already have
Outplay
it.
between Outplay Esports, the unbeaten champion of Pierced Esports League up until now, facing off against Brotherhood of the Red Lion, the second favorite, and I feel like they still have to prove that they are worthy of the title, but they have the chance today. Unfortunately, the game immediately starts with a pause.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I think either of the upcoming teams who are going to play against Outplay, they do not need to win, but if they are able to get a win out of Outplay, it's already huge for them.
Yes, I think so too. And well, you mentioned now the next teams who are going to play Outplay. The other teams at the second spot, which are also going to play tomorrow for our PEL Weekly Show. So that's a tiebreaker between those two. And I think that's also going to be a very interesting match.
I feel like overall this weekend and the next few weeks are going to be really important for the outcome of the season. So definitely also tune in tomorrow. Corona Difference against Royal Family. Both teams are also on the second spot of the league. It's going to be really interesting. But right now we are back in this confrontation. The game finally started. Apparently they had some problems at the start, but it's going to start off right now. And yeah, I feel like we could still learn a little bit more about those team comps. Guys, who do you think has the better team comp here? Which team comp fits better together? And who scales better into the late game?
It depends. On one hand, we have a team that they have to try to protect Kog'Maw. Irelia can go in and try to confuse the enemies a bit, maybe get, let's say, a 3-man stun, maybe 4-man stun would be great. Then they have, actually they have a good engage with Irelia and Diana in the late game. Karma is good for poke. We have Olaf, who is going to be the main frontline with Irelia, and then Kog'Maw, who should be able to stay in the backline and poke out or auto attack Trundle and Nautilus if he does not get focused by them. On the other hand, GP ult can do a lot in a team fight, depending on where he places it. Maybe cutting off some ways to get out, or forcing the enemies to stay somewhere, not going through the ult. If he goes a bit AP and manages to get the ult on Karma and Kog'Maw, the ult will deal a lot of damage and they have to get out of it ASAP.
And
But
I think a jungler like Trundle can shine very high in a situation like this, because he can use his E to force a choke point. And let's say he's ganking on bot, and he can just choke the enemies with his E, can be followed up by an MF ult, CC by Nautilus, ulti from Gangplank. I mean, that can do a lot of damage very quickly, in my opinion.
Exactly. So if they fight in the jungle, technically Outplay can come out ahead because they have abilities giving them an advantage because of the small space the jungle provides.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if they are fighting, let's say around Baron Pit, Drake Pit, or even a team fight in a lane, I can see Brotherhood having an advantage there.
And also very aggressive early game playstyles from the junglers. And Trundle is going into Olaf's jungle alongside LeBlanc, and they put a lot of damage on him quite early on in the game.
And we already had to flash.
Yeah.
So a summoner down on him. Irelia is going to have a disgusting lane. GP with Grasp of the Undying can do a lot of damage, and especially taking the Corrupting Pot, it's not going to end very soon.
He's already kind of pushing her back under the turret.
Yeah. Now
But she tries to fight it and gets
close
to death.
very close. She has to pay attention. It's a disgusting lane.
Once more, Olaf is being put under a lot of pressure. And that's first blood here for Ginge in the mid lane with his LeBlanc. His signature pick paying off once again.
It's very early aggressions from Trundle, and they're able to snag that kill, which puts them in already a very good position here. Because LeBlanc, who gets early some kills, can do a lot of damage on other lanes.
Yeah, she can. If she manages to push the lane in every single time, she has a lot of free time that she can use to roam. Like for example, for the first blood, she was able to push in Diana. She had enough time to help Trundle going for the aggressive plays, and it paid off.
Yeah, I think especially LeBlanc playing for that priority in the mid lane is really key thing here.
Oh, and he even got the double buff from Olaf, so that's gonna be. I think Diana's gonna have a rough, a rough time now. Because I mean, LeBlanc, who can consistently just harass you and get away with it because it's LeBlanc, man, that's annoying.
Yeah, that's. But it's typical LeBlanc. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and then she gets blue buff, and you're just like, okay, well, this is not gonna stop anytime soon.
Yeah, that's true. Especially also with the red buff. Any poke you do to her will be regenerated in a short amount of time. Ooh, that E was way too early, and I think she has to pay for it. This could.
Rather that the red line's bot lane is going at it!
Oh, nice, very nice.
Yes,
So
they're playing very aggressively.
At least their bot lane is winning right now.
Yeah. It's up to now very... They stand even in kills, but there is a light difference already in terms of CS, where OP definitely has the upper hand.
Especially on the solo lanes for Gangplank and LeBlanc here.
Yes, and I feel like that's also been maybe an issue in the last other matches that Brotherhood of the Red Line had. They got a lot of kills, and the enemies got more CS, so they were still even. If Gangplank hit level 6 some time ago, that's gonna hurt.
Oh, now is the time where they have to fight.
Oh, and Olaf
Olaf is
now
coming
a lot
for
of
the
champions
gank.
here in the Wailer, but Olaf joins on the top
She
lane.
waited too- she
Gangplank
waited
drops
too long.
really low, and Olaf is on his steps, but there is the tumble. He's waiting, and okay, apparently they anticipated that, and both teams get out without losing really a lot here.
Yes.
Oh no, oh no,
Oh, Ilya
no.
flashes in, gets the
Be-
kill and the shutdown here, and she wants even more. She goes for the Trundle, but Trundle is in a better spot here. He takes the kill back on Bakuzi here.
Nicely played from Rakuzi.
Yes,
Sadly,
definitely.
sadly he did not know about Trundle being around the corner, and that messed up the trade.
And I just realized now that because he used his ulti, Aurelia is super strong against Trundle. If Trundle gets ulted, he's basically useless. He can just zero absolutely no damage.
That's true. But this time she made the right call. She went for Gangplank killing him, and I assume she wanted to go back to lane and get some CS to get even on that. But I think the kill should be enough. Well, GP got an assist, so the kill itself would have been enough to compromise the lost CS, but it's not enough this time. She has to pay attention, because every time that Gangplank has grasp up, he can just go for a free Q on her.
Yeah. And I also think she was maybe planning on going back towards Olaf, because he went on top lane, but he was barely not early enough there. Or maybe they did not anticipate Trundle to be there quite as early as he was, because he was right there, right?
Yeah, well, he stayed there.
Yeah.
They saw Olaf coming from behind, or they saw Trundle was already.
And both junglers now here on the bot lane. The gank is happening. MF with a really nice ultimate. A lot of damage being put. Nautilus is the first one to go down, but MF follows right after that. And it looks like, yeah, it's a full cleanup for Team Brotherhood of the Red Lions here, taking the bot lane and the jungler into death. Morgana is roaming down together with Diana, but both mid laners are deciding for the better to not join here.
This was a nice counter jungle from Olaf, coming in at the right time and they being able to secure themselves 3 kills and nobody dying.
Yes, definitely a very strong play because although Kog'Maw just got one of the kills, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, I think everyone got one. Karma got one, Kog'Maw and Olaf got one. Well, for Olaf it's good. He's now even with Trundle.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, he's going for how is it called? Cinderhulk, right?
Yes.
The tank. Yeah, he seems to be going for a Cinderhulk build. Oh, and this is a free Drake. They have Brotherhood has no vision around it. Maybe Karma could try sniping it with the Q, but
It's already gone. However, Olaf is immediately doing
the Herald as an
the
answer.
Herald. I was gonna call him Scuttle.
I mean, technically, it could
he's
be
like
seen as a huge Scuttle crab.
I mean, kind of, right?
And now we have a triple gank here on the mid lane and the chain of LeBlanc connected perfectly for setup here, and Diana goes down immediately.
At least Olaf was able to repay that by getting the Herald. So it was not, her death was not empty-handed, I think. In the meantime, bot lane just doing a lot of damage against that MF under the tower.
Taking advantage of the fact that Nautilus is not there yet. However, he does come back and his AD carry is quite low already.
They also took some turret platings in return for the kill on the Diana on the mid lane.
Yeah. I think bot lane of Brotherhood of the Red Lion is setting up themselves quite well now. They have a bit of a lead already.
Yeah, and I think that
only go well.
I would say a decent lead, 3-0.
And I feel like that's also really important for their team composition. Like they really want to get that Kog'Maw into the game, and then the rest is not so important. But then again, you have a LeBlanc on the team of Outplay eSports here, which is always a threat for every AD carry.
Yes,
They
especially
have.
with.
Okay, this is a good question.
Oh, and now Outplay wants to stop that lead on the bot lane. They are engaging the bot lane here together with the jungler, and they are taking out the Karma first. Kog'Maw seems to be safe under the tower, but LeBlanc is joining in as well. Is being seen here by the control ward, however. And I think Outplay eSports has to slow down their pace a little bit here.
It was a good trade. It was a good trade for Outplay getting a kill, especially on Karma, who had a shutdown. But on the other hand, Nautilus going away gave, let's say, 3 platings to Brotherhood for nothing, just because Nautilus was not on the lane. So they gained a huge gold advantage over Outplay with that. Or at least the bot lane.
Well, they're not that far ahead looking at their gold difference, especially Kog'Maw. Karma has a bigger lead. It's 1k gold. The one Kog'Maw has is 500.
It's more than a kill.
And I think they're focusing more on LeBlanc getting more money right now, because LeBlanc also has a 20 CS lead on mid lane, 1 kill and an assist over Diana. And if LeBlanc can do whatever, however she pleases on mid lane, she can go bot lane and, as Daniel said, very easily catch the Kog'Maw if he's not careful, because it's a LeBlanc.
Yeah. That's why they have to secure enough vision, and right now they have enough vision around it.
Oh, and now we have Aurelia first time engaging here on on the Gangplank, and Olaf was joining in, but they didn't quite were able to dive him here.
If Gangplank is too difficult to pronounce, you can say GP.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit easier.
Ooh, and we have Trundle coming towards top lane. For
Oh, and now Aurelia
The
is in a
pillar
really
hits.
tough spot. On the other side, we have Outplay Esports also going for the mid lane. Diana once again in a very tough spot.
The
However, Nautilus stopped really low. Stopwatch saving him from the death here. And on the bot line, the action goes on. The MF is barely able to save herself with the heal under the tower. Is being able to heal back. And what is Karma doing? Suiciding herself to the tower here. MF gets the kill. On the other hand, Trundle and Gangplank are able to take the top lane tower, and in the mid lane, Nautilus is pushing as well. Outplay Esports overall taking a really good lead here with a
bot lane
few
tower.
good plays all over the map.
Bot lane tower is going to fall, and it's not even the first tower. Ooh.
yes, those are some very bad fights for Brotherhood of the Red Line right now. That Karma death was that hurt. That hurt hard.
Definitely. If she had gotten MF, it would be fine, but...
When
Ooh.
Aurelia now sees the Gangplank here doing
should kill him.
a nice setup with the stun, and
You
that
have to
should
kill
be
him.
a kill
Okay,
for
good.
Aurelia, and it is a shutdown. A lot of gold into her pocket, and it slows down the Gangplank, which is really important for Team Brotherhood of the Red Line at this point. The other side, we have Outplay Esports going for the Dragon right now. Kog'Maw is able to see this, and it looks like Brotherhood of the Red Line wants to contest this. The TP is coming in, and it's the first team fight of this game. And is Brotherhood of the Red Line even able to get anything out of this? Outplay Esports is disengaging this really well, and Brotherhood of the Red Line is not able to secure any kills here.
Oh my god. This hurts so much watching it. The engage was very nice, but the disengage from Outplay was just better. They were able to avoid everything that Brotherhood had coming for them.
Yeah, overall Outplay Esports really shows off why they are unbeaten until now. They play really clean this early game.
Yes, they synergize also very well with these Nautilus gangs on the mid lane, which have up to now resulted in a 100% kill rate. And also LeBlanc moving at the good times towards the Drake now, and bot lane being able to help her team out quite a lot.
Yeah, Outplay is moving, or they want to prepare for the second Herald, but Nautilus was caught slightly, but it's no big deal for him because of his W.
Yes, if Kog'Maw had gotten to him, it would have been a bigger problem, but luckily MF was able to slow down the Karma with her E, making her unable to keep the route up. And I think Trundle wasn't that far away anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Outplay will start the Herald right now, so both teams have to move, but they have to pay attention to LeBlanc.
Yeah,
Because
and LeBlanc with a lot of damage on the Kog'Maw here, but she has to disengage as there is backup for the Kog'Maw.
the TP from Irelia. No, it's TP from Diana.
Of Outplay Esports is also around with a nice Rift Herald swap here. And now it is Impact who is engaging this fight. MF with a really nice ultimate here, but Gangplank already dropped really low. Diana is the first one to go down here off Brotherhood of the Red Lions. And it looks like a really close fight. Gangplank is able to survive this, and Aurelia is the one to go down. And now Olaf has to flee out of this fight. And no one is taking the Rift Herald with themselves. Oh no, Gangplank did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now Olaf is in a really tight spot here, and Gangplank just healing back so much, and they are able to take out this Olaf. And Outplay Esports now really is setting up a really high tempo in this game with the Rift Herald on the top lane, and their bot lane pushing in the mid lane. And that's another tower for Outplay Esports. At this point, Gangplank drops really low once again, but he heals so much with his W.
The pillar was clutch on from Trundle. I think without the pillar, Gangplank would have died.
It's such a powerful tool if you use it well.
Yeah. Cutting off people is very, very good with it.
Yes, and now Outplay Esports is in a really good spot. They definitely have taken a very big lead now. They're 4k gold ahead and 2 turrets ahead on mid lane, and top lane is almost open. They're at the door for the inhib turret.
And they have
the map mapped out.
they also have a lot of vision around top lane. Looking at it, they have, we can say, one deep ward and two controlling wards around the river, and a pink ward even in the river. So they have, we can definitely say they have dominance over the top side, or had dominance. The wards started expiring, and it looks like Olaf wants to, or wanted to go for a gank on GP, but they had MF and Trundle not too far away.
And I feel like there you really see the quality of a team like Outplay Esports. If you look at how many vision and how many wards are being set down by those teams. And now Outplay Esports is engaging on Impact Jacuzzi here on the top lane. Aurelia is in a tough spot. Olaf does join in, but can they really play this 2v2? Olaf is really low and he goes down. Gameplank has to flash out, is being taken by the Aurelia. Now Diana joins in, but it is too late. Aurelia is already down, and it's a 2-for-1 up until now. MF now with a really nice ultimate. And oh, Trundle is being able to get out really low. MF as well, and Diana goes down, and Kog'Maw is now in a tough spot. Nautilus with a really nice hook, and that's the ace for Outplay Esports in the 20th minute. Outplay Esports already takes the ace.
What a fight was that? People came in, rolling in one after the other. And Outplay, with just one loss, was able to decimate all of Brothers of the Red Lion. And they move now for 3 Baron. Well, Drake is up, so maybe Breath of the Red Lion should go take it, because they can't do much more right now.
Yeah, and honestly, I have to ask you guys, what would be the winning condition for Brotherhood of the Red Lions? Because Outplay Esports at this moment in the game, they seem very dominant.
I think for now, they definitely just have to focus on stopping Outplay's rolling snowball, because their lead is getting bigger and bigger, and they're not gonna go for that Drake, which is their third Drake.
A win condition for Brotherhood would be getting all 3 shutdowns without sacrificing too much. Winning a team fight will already be good for them, but they have to get a team fight, a real team fight, because up until right now, there was never a real team fight. It was a 2v2 on top lane that started GP Trundle versus Irelia Olaf. That's what happened most of the time. And then we had separately always Diana, Kog'Maw, or Karma joining in from the backside, or maybe trying to flank. With Diana, it can work. But right up until now, they never had a real 5v5 team fight. It could be good, but yeah, it's difficult to say. Their Kog'Maw is not as fat as he was last time. I think last week he had something around 10 plus kills.
Well, I feel like in general, this time around they're not playing quite as good around that Kog'Maw as they did last time. I feel like Kog'Maw very often is getting catched when he's alone, and there's nobody to help him protect himself, which is definitely a need when you're playing against a champion like LeBlanc, because you can't expect the Kog'Maw to defend himself so easily against the LeBlanc, because she can come out of anywhere, literally.
Yeah, he can do it to some extent, but because of the high mobility of LeBlanc, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, and once again we have a break here. Apparently the top laner of Outplay Esports had a DC here.
No, I think it's the support that has gone. Yeah, the support went away.
Yeah, but
Okay.
before it was the top laner, so whatever. But they are ready to start again, so the game is about to start. Yeah.
Alrighty.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the massacre will go on. And Outplay Esports definitely pushing towards the base with this Baron buff.
They are able to defend the T2 right now, but for Hollow, ooh, good that she had.
LeBlanc really setting here into a dangerous position, but
Good
is
for
able
her.
to come back with her W.
Oh, that was really strange.
Yes, but I think this actually points out one of the problems that Brotherhood of the Red Line might have this match with their composition is that they do not have any instant hard CC. They have Aurelia stun, which needs setup.
It's the only one they have.
Diana has her knockback.
Oh, and now they are looking for the pick here on the MF, and she was out of position, giving that kill to Brotherhood of the Red Lions and slowing down Outplay Esports at least a little bit here.
Instantly punished for mispositioning.
Yeah, so these are the kind of picks they need right now, because MF had quite a nice shutdown on her.
500, I think. At least 450. So at least right now they did one thing. They got a shutdown without sacrificing too much.
By the way, talking about AD carries, something worth noting that we haven't mentioned yet, I feel like, is that Outplay Esports, they are not playing with their main AD carry. They have switched Daikara today for Dr. Cyclop.
Well, technically, Brotherhood is also not playing with the ADC, if you look at it. Or at least the ADC is not playing ADC.
Yeah, but they are at least playing with their main setup for the team.
Yeah, that's true.
And not
But
with
it's quite
bench
sad
play.
because I wanted to see Daikara play because I think he's in post esports league. They released that MVP race kind of on their Facebook page, and I think Daikara is actually on first spot there.
Yeah.
And overall also a very strong player on the bot lane. So, Red of the Red Line is definitely playing very passively now, following this few bad fights they've had.
Yeah, but they have to. And I think it's
definitely.
also a good idea because they scale better into late game. Or at least they scale very good into late game because LeBlanc at some point she is going to fall off.
Yeah,
And
that will still take 3 full items before that happens.
oh, and now we have the engage here on the top lane by Brotherhood of the Red Lions, and they're able to take out this game plan. And that's the picks they have to take now. But how much of their base did they leave open for that? Well, actually not that much. Outplay Esports is not able to take any towers in return. So that's a lot of free gold here for Brotherhood of the Red Lions.
Oof.
Oh, but LeBlanc is just so strong currently, taking out this Karma like it was nothing.
Well, it was nothing.
Just a juicy midnight snack.
Yeah, that's in my opinion kind of the problem with Karma. She's really good at when she's with her team, but once she's alone against the LeBlanc, she's not gonna do much. Her CC is too delayed. Her shield is not substantial enough for a situation like that one.
One LeBlanc Q, I think one LeBlanc Q does either enough to break the shield instantly, or even double the shield.
Yeah.
So yeah, the shield is, on one hand, it's good, but on the other hand, it's kinda useless. It's good for Kog'Maw, because of the Ardent Sensor, and the chalice she's going to build, but...
I mean, especially that LeBlanc is way further ahead than Karma is.
I don't know what they were thinking, but giving a
When
free
Brotherhood is
soul.
once again looking for that pick here on the top lane. Gangplank is really the one that they want to mess up his KDA here. And Gangplank, is he able to escape here? Yeah, he escapes the last Kog'Maw ult. But on the other side, Outplay eSports is just pushing the base of Brotherhood of the Wetlands for that. Was it really a good decision to commit so hard on this Gangplank that they were not even able to kill? And they had to give up an inhibitor for that now. And now Outplay eSports is moving towards this Baron here.
What were they actually thinking? First, they are giving a free soul to Outplay. Secondly, they are chasing down Gangplank, who already has most deaths on Outplay. And then they are going to lose a lot
And
of their
now
base.
Brotherhood of the Wetline has to engage here on this Baron, because otherwise that would be their death anyways. And they are able, no, they are losing their already against the Gangplank. They were able to take a little bit of health off of Outplay eSports, but it is not enough to stop them yet. And LeBlanc is doing a perfect job in zoning Brotherhood of the Wetlines away here. Now Olaf is joining in here from the side, but Karma is already really low. She goes down, so does Kog'Maw. And also Diana is really low. Olaf died in the meantime as well. And now Outplay eSports doesn't even have to take this Baron anymore. It was just be an way around, and they go to the instantly TP into Brotherhood of the Wetlands base and are able to push this down. Still a lot of death timers here on the side of Brotherhood of the Wetlands. Both in Nexus towers are being taken down immediately, and this is the Nexus. This is game one for Outplay eSports, taking the lead into this series.
Wow. Outplay eSports truly showing dominance on their game, and definitely holding up to their title of unbeaten team in this tournament. Up to now and still now. So, yeah. I don't know
feel
what
like-
to expect for the second game, to be honest.
I feel like the earlier game was a bit shaky of Outplay eSports, but once it came to mid game and playing macro and playing over the map, they were just so much better than Brotherhood of the Wetlands.
I think in general that's what makes them stick out against other teams, is that they seem to have very good communication between their players, and they move a lot around the map, and they do that really well.
Well, Outplay, I'm not going to say they abused it, but they were confident, even though they, I think the first tower they lost was on bot lane. They were confident enough that MF could hold up somewhat against Karma and Kog'Maw, while in the meantime they had Nautilus being able to roam and secure some kills for LeBlanc in the mid lane.
Yes, definitely. And wait, gonna. Yeah, and also, well, not only that, but Outplay Esports, they seem to be individually very strong. I feel like they all usually had the CS lead. At least the solo laners and the jugglers did. They had a huge lead in terms of CS, and in general had a very good time on their lane. Not too many difficulties. So yeah, definitely showing their power here.
Yeah, really strong game by Outplay eSports, and I'm excited to see if Brotherhood of the Wetlands will be able to set something new up for the second game, or if they can at least settle in little bit, and if they can set more of a challenge to Outplay eSports in the second game of this game matchup. I would say we go into a short break while the teams are setting up the lobby here, and then we're gonna be back soonish. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to PEL Weekly, the face-off of the Giants. Outplay eSports against Brotherhood of the Red Lions here. Unfortunately, Noah had to leave us. So we are going to be casting the second game, just us two, Loic and me, back to the roots.
Just
But-
like the first time.
Yeah, and both
So-
teams are ready, so we are gonna start immediately into the champion select.
Yes, so after this game, which ended in kind of a stomp from Outplay Esports against Brotherhood of the Red Lion, we're gonna see if they're able to get back to the expectations of maybe winning a match against Outplay Esports or not.
And once
So-
again, Outplay Esports starts off with a Lulu ban, target banning Ryu here, which has been playing a very strong Lulu and Morgana. So Morgana might be the second ban once again. Never change a running system, I guess.
Yes, and I think also Rizzy is definitely one of the players from Brotherhood of the Red Line you have to really be careful around, because in my opinion he's a very strong player and has definitely proven that over the course of this season. And yeah, next few
And I
bans
feel like
coming in.
this time Kinetic even took the position immediately of the AD carry. Do you guys think that, or do you think that they have swapped Kinetic to the AD carry position for good?
I don't know. Guess we'll have to see next week if they still keep Kinetic on the bot lane and Recruzy on the top, or if it's switched up again.
So Olaf banned by Outplay Esports. They definitely don't want to face off this Olaf again. That was causing them so much problems last game. And on the other hand, we have a Varus and an Ornn ban. So Morgana is being left open this time around. And Graves first pick.
Yeah, Graves is quite strong at the moment. I think he's overall right now one of the most played junglers, I think. And I mean, he can do a load of damage in the jungle. It's just totally absurd.
Yeah, however, a jungler without any CC here, so Outplay Esports might be looking for that on their next picks. On the other hand, we have a Kayn. Also a very damage heavy jungler.
Yes, and I think Tim Shady has proven himself quite a few times with Kayn. Showing it is a very strong pick in his hands.
King of Clowns from TSK is saying, I want to solo queue in silver with Graves today, no problem for the inspiration. I'm sure Outplay Esports was watching your game and they said, we have to play Graves today. That sounds like a very convenient theory.
And we have Xayah and Rakan on the bot lane for Outplay Esports. Rakan being Trigger Happy's most picked champ in all of the matches he played. He's got an overall 75% pick rate on Rakan, so that puts them in already a very good spot in my opinion here.
Yeah, and here we also have the Morgana for VTU. But also Tim Shady has been playing Morgana, I think, the first week in the jungle, but I think Morgana jungle is not so viable anymore.
I mean, it was quite fun at first, but I don't think Riot wants Morgana in the jungle either, so...
Yeah, and especially I feel like against the Graves it would be a very cocky pick to put her in the jungle, because Graves could easily invade her all the time.
Right.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Yeah, okay, definitely banning the Caitlyn after Morgana pick. The usual. Nobody wants to see that, it's disgusting.
Cannot understand.
And on the other side we see a lot of bans against the mid lane here with Silas and Syndra.
I get it.
Syndra can also be played bot lane currently, but as It is not Daikara playing, who has been playing Syndra bot lane, and Askxaya is already picked. I believe Syndra would not be a flex pick anymore, but she's banned this time around. On the other side, we have the Ezreal ban as the last ban. Using a Philios pick as on the AD carry position for Brotherhood of the Red Lions. What do you think about that?
I personally don't like Aphelios. I think as a champion he's got just too much on his kit, and it's overall just a mess. But I know he can be very strong, but right now I'm more focused on that Kled, because we have seen Dynunk play Kled, and we have seen Dynunk abuse Kled as a champion and dominate his lanes. I feel like that's gonna be a rough one on top lane, because Dynunk and Kled, that's just, man, that's a thing. I have seen it, and I kind of get flashbacks sometimes. It's just, I mean, it's,
Can we make a Vietnam flashback me with that, please?
that Kled is terrifying, to be honest.
Yeah, no, but it's true. Kled, or Dynunk plays a very solid Kled. He also has been playing it on LGX last year and had a very good performance on it. Overall, also in the entire tournament. And yeah, so a lot of expect from this Kled top lane, especially against the Gnar. I feel like Kled is the big brother of Gnar from the champion design perspective, and yeah, it's going to be a really interesting matchup on the top lane. On the other side, Ginge got the LeBlanc once again.
Yes, definitely. I wouldn't have thought they'd keep it open, because he was very strong last game with LeBlanc. I think he went at 5-0, and in general was able to zone Brother of the Red Line very well, using LeBlanc's kit to his advantage. But on the other hand, they did ban Sylas and Syndra, which are also just as strong champions on the mid lane when played well. And that's very expectable from a player like Ginge. So yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like Rokuzi is gonna be playing top lane once again against the guess of Magic X in the chat. So I guess your clairvoyance skills have left you.
Yeah, they were quite short-lived, it seems.
But yeah, that might be. It might be that they just swapped it around for the matchup against Outplay eSports, or if they change it for good. We might have to ask Rafael later on, coach of Brotherhood of the Red Lion. By the way, guys, we are gonna have an interview later on with Ginge, the captain of Outplay eSports, on the stream, so can ask him about this first game that was really stomping, and maybe the outcome of the second game, that we of course hope is gonna be more close.
And yeah, so now we can clearly also see both team comps here. I feel like we have two team comps which are quite different from what we see usually. I feel like usually we had a lot of comps, or at least one of two teams had a comp where they had a heavy tank, which gets really tanky over the game, and an AD carry who scales really well into late game. But this time around, I feel like we don't have one of those really heavy tanks, in my opinion. Can just stand there and not die. I feel like Kled and Gnar are usually played more as bruisers than tanks.
Yeah, even though both of them get really tanky, especially Na is can be played as a heavy tank as well. And yeah, scaling wise, I feel like Brotherhood of the Red Lions once more is better off with the Aphelios pick, because Aphelios does scale really good into late game. But Xayah is not to be underestimated as well. And Ahri and LeBlanc both fall off into late game. So also both of the teams are really good at team fighting. What team comp do you see better off here?
Well, I I feel like it's hard to get better synergy than Xayah and Rakan on your team comp. So I think that already plays in favor of Outplay Esports for their team comp here this time around. Also, we should have a poll going up in chat, by the way, once again, where you can predict the outcome of this match.
But actually, I can see the poll. Are you sure it is up, François?
Oh, I don't have it either here. All right,
so we are preparing a poll for you guys to in order to get your votes in who you guys are rooting for. I'm a poll. Well, that's nice for you.
not that kind of poll, unfortunately. So yeah, going into the loading screen.
So yeah, now the poll is out, and you guys can show us who you are rooting for here. We are about to start into the second game of this set. Outplay Esports, still unbeaten champion into the Post Esports League against Brotherhood of the Red Lions, who has proven that they are a good team, that they can have their good days. But in the first game, there was not so much seen of that.
Yes, they'll definitely have to approach the game from a different manner this time around if they want a chance against Outplay Esports. And well, they immediately went for, in my opinion, quite different bot lane than last time around. Wow.
Mathematically seen, Brotherhood should win, but then again, I failed math.
It's kind of that meme with, I calculated this, but man, am I bad at math with the bird.
I don't know that meme, but sure. Well, Luke, you are good at math, so mathematically, who is gonna win that game?
I'm gonna say, based on the math knowledge I do have, that I'm actually not that good at math, so no. I mean, it's pretty hard to mathematically prove anything here. It's a game, so it's not like a game of poker where you can actually mathematically have a perfect game, technically.
But it's a computer game, so it's made out of math.
Oof,
Oh,
yeah,
and Graves jumping over the wall, but
here.
all of Brotherhood of the Red Line is waiting there. And that's the first blood for Brotherhood of the Red Line here. Outplay Esports getting 0-1 into this confrontation.
That's very unfortunate for Graves. He tried to be really sneaky, but unlucky for him, they were standing right there. Man, that's a rough one.
Yeah, really good prediction here by Brotherhood of the Red Lion.
And yeah, following this, we now have Gna, who's going on top lane already with one more item, which puts him in quite a good position right off the bat.
Graves now even has to start his buff alone, which is also quite unfortunate.
Graves can easily do that. That's what makes him so strong as a jungler. He can just, look at him, kiting red buff to death. He did not get any damage. It's just insane. A good Graves can clear the jungle without any problems. Which gives a good setup on bot lane for Outplay Esports, as they can quite early on start clearing the wave.
Also, interestingly enough, Kane didn't start Raptors here. Is there a new jungle route for Kane? Do you know that?
I really haven't played Kane in ages, so I don't know. I feel like the starting Raptors is just always free for Kane because he can so easily clear them.
And maybe also bottom of red line didn't feel like they need their bot lane to be there right away, as they don't want to play that lane aggressively anyways against Xayah or Khan lane. However, they are dealing a lot of damage to the Khan here with the Morgana bind.
This is gonna have to be flash
and
E
flash
from Ari.
Yeah, however, not ending up in a kill. And now it is Ginge going aggressively here, and Graves even comes in as well. Blanc did move out in the very wide spot, and Ari is going down here from this gank on the mid lane. On the other side, we have Team Shady ganking the top lane, and Dynak flashes out really nice, but Kane flashes behind, and that's the kill on Kled.
Yeah, it's a very good move here from Tim Shady. He definitely does not want to let Dynak get into the game, and he immediately follows up by attacking Graves here. And that's another kill for Gna here.
Yeah, and a lot of fighting going on. We really see the tempo in this team, or in this game overall. On the bot lane there was a fighting as well. And I feel like that's something really different if you look at the games between these two teams, which are still a little bit higher level than other teams in the league. They have much more tempo in their game, I feel like.
Yes, definitely. And I feel like Brother of the Red Line is playing this really well up to now, as they're taking kind of a lead quite early on, and if they can ride on that wave, that could end very well for them.
Yeah, but as in the previous game as well, Brotherhood of the Red Line, they had a decent early game, but once objectives started mattering and the macro was coming in, they started falling behind Outplay eSport. So that's something to look out for. But also I feel something going really towards Brotherhood of the Red Lines is that Ari is much better at clearing the mid lane wave than Diana was, and that doesn't give Ginge so much free time to roam around. He cannot keep up the lane priority all the time on the mid lane. And that's really playing towards Brotherhood of the Red Lines here. And now we have another gank here from the Graves on the mid lane. A lot of damage already on the Ari. She is going down. Team Shady with the counter gank, but he cannot do a lot here. And Outplay eSport takes the kill.
Yes, unfortunately, Wright's flash was down when they came. He was unable to escape. And now on top lane, we once again have a fight between Gna and Kled here. Gna is about to transform.
Oh, and that's really important. But Kled got his mount back at this very moment. Seems like both decided to let over of this situation. Now both junglers are meeting, but also they don't really want to fight here. Now LeBlanc, however, is going in here. Is she gonna get the kill on Team Shady? Na is in his big form, and he is going behind, and LeBlanc warped out of this situation.
And it seems like Rakan also went up towards top lane, which leaves Xayah alone on the bot lane, and she's getting pushed in hard by Aphelios and Morgana. Definitely putting a lot of pressure on this Xayah here. And Drake is also up.
And it's really important now who on bot lane and mid lane is gonna have that lane priority, and what junglers are gonna move for that Drake first.
Yes, definitely. And here, as you said, Ari does stand out with her wave clear, and LeBlanc is was faced with quite a big wave there. And yeah, both junglers playing around their bot side here. We have Graves going into his bot jungle, probably gonna take his red buff, and Gna TPing on the mid lane.
Oh, and that is really setting Brotherhood of the Red Lion into a good spot here to contest that dragon, because Kled doesn't have his TP up, so they would be in a person or in a number advantage here. 5v4.
Gnar just decides to start it with Ari. We have Tim Shady joining up and the bot lane too, so that's a free Drake for Brotherhood of the Red Line. Outplay's not gonna contest it. Not risking a 4v5 man fight against a team which is still ahead by a bit.
Yeah, and I also like how Brotherhood of the White Line really goes for the safe objective here. They don't try to make it cringy by leaving people on the lanes. No, they go there as a 5-man team. They really don't want to be that to get contested on that. On the other hand, Kled was able to get 2 turret platings out of that, and now we have a Kled ultimate being deployed in the jungle. There's fighting going on. Kled is being stunned against the wall here by Nana. Ari has to go out to the Rift Herald pit here. And on the other side, we have Dynang being under a lot of pressure. Kane is with his ultimate on him. Dynang goes down, and White joins in with his Ari here. And now LeBlanc is in a really tough spot. Ginge does go down. And Damon Dway, you don't want to be there. Graves, you have to escape this situation. But it looks like he will. No, Na is flashing behind. Double kill for Na. Brotherhood of the Red Line with a really strong early game here against Outplay eSports.
Yes, they played this really well, and we have Krakuzi, which is starting to get a 4-0 lead, which definitely now, he definitely is in a good position to face Nanang on the top lane without too many issues. Yeah, very well executed. Ari escaping over the Rift Herald's pit was key in this fight, I feel like too, because she forced Grace to go over too, and she got quite a bit of damage from that Herald, I feel like.
Also, Brotherhood of the Red Line was now able to secure that Rift Herald for themselves, and they gave it to Rakuzi on the top lane. And now both top laners are fighting here. The Graves is joining in. Now already really down. That's the shutdown for Outplay eSports. Both teams really don't gift anything to each other here.
Yes, they're both there for blood, it seems. Nobody wants to lose this match. And yeah, we just saw Kled, even though Na is 4-1, although I think Na did not have time to back between getting those kills in that moment. Just how strong Kled can be. Look at him taking down his turret, it's just incredible.
Yeah, and he already got a lot of turret platings out of this Na so far. And I don't know if it was the right decision to give the Rift Herald to the Na here. However, Kled is unmounted now. Might this be the possibility for Na to finally fight him? Yeah, Dynang drops really low, and that's the kill for the Na here. Easy one.
And
Kled
now,
just maybe a bit overestimated himself there.
and Na can now easily just pop Herald here on top lane. Take this turret.
Yeah, or at least cancel out the turret platings.
Yeah.
Which is already really important. And Na does have a lot of kills also. He's really good standing in this game for now.
Yes, and I think that was the idea between game. Ooh.
Oh, and now we have tension coming up to the bot lane. The how is it called? Aphelios has to flash out here. Morgana with a really nice ultimate, but Aphelios is already down, and now LeBlanc even joins in, drops really low from the tower, and if Morgana is even able to escape this. And now Ari and Kane are joining in. Outplay eSports team is really low here. Ari goes in, and Graves is the worst one being targeted here. Morgana does unfortunately not hit her Q, and the Ari is taken out by the Graves. On the other side, we have the Kane still fighting, taking out the Rakan and the LeBlanc, and then my game freezes. No, it's double kill for the Kane. Shut down for LeBlanc. Yeah, very unfortunate freeze there.
Yeah, but we have Brotherhood of the Red Line who were able to make up for Aphelios getting killed by taking 3 of them with them in the graves, making that trade even for them. Ooh. We have it's very aggressive now here on top lane, definitely using his lead to his advantage. Trying to suppress Kled as much as he can.
Oh, a nice ultimate now from the Na, but Kled once again, he gets this mount back at the very perfect moment, but loses it once again, and he has to disengage this.
Yes, that's what Denang does really well with his Kled. Already last time when we saw him, he was using that time when the mount comes back really well and definitely to his advantage. But an Infernal Drake is about to spawn. And Tim Shady is backing to the base right now.
Oh, and that's very unfortunate timing for Brotherhood of the Red Lions because Outplay eSports is there with 5 people. Ari also doesn't have the priority on the mid lane. They have to give up this Drake here.
As they take this opportunity to not, they did not go in and risk anything. Both teams are playing quite safe in my opinion this time around though, compared to last game.
Oh, and now we have the engage here from Outplay eSports on the bot lane. Morgana is the first one to go down easily, and also Aphelios is in a very tough spot here. He cannot escape this situation, and he either can't take anybody with himself. It's a double kill for the Graves here, and now Team Shady is waiting there, and the TP is coming in. Our Brotherhood of the Red Line wants to turn this around now. Na is coming in. He does have his big farm, but he doesn't need it. It's a shutdown on the Graves here, and is Wakan really able to escape here? Ari does join in now, but so does Ginge. Oh, and I
think he's dead.
He cannot escape from this situation, the Wakan. He does go down. And overall, Brotherhood of the Red Line definitely setting more of a challenge here into the later phases of the game towards Outplay eSports.
Yes, and we once again have the two. I was gonna say we have both junglers putting on a show, as King of Clans said in chat. They're getting most of the kills and are dealing a lot of damage. We have Brother of the Red Lion putting their bot lane on the mid lane, which is followed up by OP's bot lane joining them too. I think Herald is about to spawn very soon, in about 15 seconds. So both teams are gonna want to play around that one. We have Ari against Kled on the bot lane. But I think he's gonna move up. Ooh.
Yeah,
It seems like Tim Shady started the Herald.
Yeah, he did, and Brotherhood of the Red Lion is doing a really good job to zone off Outplay eSports from this situation. On the other hand, we have Kled engaging on the Ari here, and White is not able to deal anything to this Kled, and he takes out the Ari here. However, he had to burn his flash for that. So did Ari. Now a nice bind here on the mid lane, but they are in a 2v3 situation. They should not look for an engage, they should just try to defend.
We have LeBlanc, who is very deep into Brother of the Red Lion's jungle, who gets caught by Kayn and gets a lot of damage in the face. But they're able to kill him.
Yeah, and a lot of fighting still going on here. But it's the only death so far. Na is moving out, and Graves is looking to the... No, he's just trying to auto-attack him here. Ooh, and Trigger Happy barely escaping the bind there. That's really important, and now they want to look for the re-engage here. Are they gonna look for the tower dive? I don't think so. They should just safely push out the lane.
Ult. I think with Rakan ult they definitely could have, but without his ult that's gonna be a no-go. Ari joining her bot lane and the mid lane and aggressively engaging on the Xayah and Rakan.
Yeah, but to what cost? Is LeBlanc able to take anybody else? She immediately gets the wood into the face, and Aphelios gets the kill here on the LeBlanc. Brotherhood of the Red Lions with a very strong game here.
So it was a very
However-
beautiful cage from Risu here, and they're popping Herald on mid lane and definitely taking a big siege on mid lane.
Yeah, and they have to because they haven't got any towers so far. Kane now trying to go for the NH here on the Graves now with the nice ultimate. Graves is being taken out. Another kill for Brotherhood of the Wetlands. And with this turret, they are able to cancel out the gold difference. The first time in this game, or at least the first time in quite some time. They even get out the second charge of the Rift Herald, so a little bit of damage here on the tier 2 damage in the mid lane. Only one tower behind, and now they seem to be moving towards the dragon. But
Yes,
Outplay Esports, yeah, Graves is still not up again.
Yes, so that definitely was a very important pick, and definitely a well-used flash from Gna here, taking down Graves and denying them any form of contest on the Drake. Although Rakan did try to steal it with his Q, but... Yes.
And I
So
think
Brad-
something really fatal that happened here for Outplay Esports is that LeBlanc got really bad into this game. And LeBlanc, if you're in front, you can have this snowball rolling and yeah, have a lot of impact on the game and the outcome of this game. But if you fall behind as a LeBlanc, you are pretty useless all game long. So Ginge really turns out he has to do something with this LeBlanc, and now he is. Ari is being taken out, Clad also with the TP to the bot lane. And Outplay Esport, they are looking to get more out of this play, but Brotherhood of the Red Line disengages the situation really well. They have Rakan in their backline, however. And might they go for the tower dive? You know, they take the tower first, and then a lot of CC from the Rakan. That is what he's good at. But Brotherhood of the Red Line once again with a decent disengage. LeBlanc now trying to get in here, but she doesn't have quite the damage. Graves is helping with her ultimate anyways. Aphelios does go down, and also Morgana is in a very tough spot now. She does flash out, she does survive. And now it is Brotherhood of the Red Line with the return kill here on the Trigger Happy, and the shutdown also on the Clad. And this is just a back and forth. Yeah, sometimes it feels like pro play, and sometimes it feels like clown fiesta. I don't know what to think about this game. But it is really, really close. That for sure. And now Baron is spawning, and it's going to be a really important objective in this game. And they are still chasing here. Kane gets the kill on the Xayah, and he wants the Graves too with his ultimate. He's going behind, getting a lot of health back here, and Graves deals a lot of damage too, but it is the Kane coming out ahead. And Brotherhood of the Red Lines all over the map, taking advantages now, getting their third tower on the top lane, and now they are moving towards the Baron. It is an obvious pick. Graves is down, LeBlanc too. Both of them only spawning in 20 seconds. That's the time they need for this Baron. And Brotherhood of the Red Line now taking a decent lead into this second match of this confrontation.
Yes, they definitely played really well around the map here, and especially Kane abusing his lead alongside Na and really using the power spikes they had already earlier on the game to push back Outplay Esports and further their lead now by 3k gold, 1 Drake more, and a Baron buff. So it is actually looking very rough for Outplay Esports at the moment.
Yeah, and I feel like, well, how big do you feel like is the impact of the both junglers in this game so far? Because we have been talking a lot about the junglers before, and yeah.
I think their stats right now speak for themselves. They both have the killing lead. They both, I think they both had the most gold out of their teammates. And they definitely wrestle around those objectives. They try to keep dominance over them and not let them fall into the other's hands, trying to take them as quickly as possible every time. And I mean, Graves is definitely getting focused hard in every fight right now. Very obviously. So
And also, if you look kill participation wise, both junglers are really the most involved players here.
that's true. And that's what's to be expected. I think Tim Shady is definitely redeeming himself from a few plays he had last week, and showing that he did deserve that MVP title very well, and this time around playing really well against 2.
Yeah, and now play eSports. They don't want to give up this tower for free, and now they are looking for the engage here. Nice knock-up from the Rakan here, but however, he is also the first one to pay for that. He does go down, and now the AD carry is under a lot of pressure. Aphelios is the first one to go down, however, and Xayah is still able to save herself here against the Team Shady, and he got the shutdown. And Brotherhood of the Red Line has to back off here. They wanted too much, I feel like. And they should have played that a little bit more passive and maybe go for the safe tower instead. Now they are rotating towards the Drake, but I don't really feel like they can do that without their jungler being up. On the other side, Graves is still up. They did pull out the jungler, however, and it is giving up their position there as well. Graves does join into the pit here. He sees what Brotherhood of the Red Line is up to.
But they're now in. They have 1 player less right now than Outplay Esports. They are low. And we have LeBlanc getting caught and taking a lot of damage. But here's a TP from Kled coming in immediately afterwards. And Outplay Esports is able to go for the Drake, while Brotherhood of the Red Line has to back off.
Yeah, and I also think it was the good decision to back off there. They really needed that reset, and they were not in the position to fight anymore after they lost that team fight in Outplay Esports base.
Yes, definitely. It would be a shame to throw away their lead by losing a fight like this one. So that definitely was the best decision to take here. And they're not falling too far behind in terms of Drakes if they lose one.
No, especially as they already have 2. So, yeah, Outplay Esports was able to cancel that out. But in the end, it's just important who gets the 4th one.
Yes. And we have Dynang here setting up a trap against Rikuzi, who just loses his form and is forced to ult, because else that could have gone really bad for him.
Yeah, but I also like the commitment. Like, he immediately says, no, I don't want to take this fight. Go away, man.
Yes.
It's okay.
They're both thinking on the same terms here. They seem to kind of communicate through their plays here. Yeah, and Graves is on the bot lane, which at this point in the game, with Brotherhood of the Red Lion kind of being grouped around top side, could be quite bad for them.
If they really want to go for the pitch push, and Outplay Esports seems to be setting up a 1v1 here with Kled on the top lane and Graves on the bot lane. And Na is forced to go bot lane now to take the wave. He does have TP up, however, so in case there would be a teamfight breaking out, he would be able to join in immediately. Oh, and they are luring or trying to lure the... Oh, and now they are engaging here. Nice cage from the Morgana. Oh, but Rakan takes Tim Shady here into a deep position, but he is able to back out again. It is a Kayn after all.
Yes, and by taking out Rakan, he takes out Outplay's eSport best bet at an engage, in my opinion. Kled does offer a very good option to engage here, but without Rakan's AoE, potentially AoE ultimate and charm, I think they would really have a hard time fighting against Brotherhood of the Red Lions.
Yeah, and as this game has a little bit of downtime right now, or at least the tempo has lowered a little bit, and we are slowly going towards the late game, what team do you feel like is better off in the late game?
I think Brotherhood of the Red Lion, I don't know, I feel like they're pretty even here, actually. going towards late game. I feel like they both have champs who do not carry over quite as well in the late game. However, they both have AD carries which could start to shine more now that we are starting to head into late game. I think they're both pretty even on that front, to be honest.
I don't know, I feel like we haven't seen much of both AD carries until now.
Yeah.
But I think Aphelios is definitely, or he scales better, stats-wise and also ability-wise. But then again, it also comes to how good can you play out this champion, and that's always a thing you have to consider when, or I have to consider when I see Aphelios in this, bottom of the red line, engaging now here. Ari is the first one to go down, however, the Graves is being taken in return immediately. It's a 1-for-1 twig, and it is the jungler down for Outplay eSports, and that might cost them the Baron, but they are positioning themselves around. They don't want to give that up freely, I feel like. And are they gonna engage in time though? They don't have vision. Now they have vision in the pit. And it is brought out of the red line actually going for the engage with the Baron debuff. That might hurt quite a lot. Aphelios is the first one to go down. And it looks like Outplay eSport comes out ahead of this fight. Tim Shady does go down as well. And so does Morgana. And actually, Na is the only one left here. He tries to fight this against the Kled. But Kled is a very damage heavy champ. No, they are able to escape. Now it is the Morgana flashing towards the Gnar. Can he 1v3 this? All of our play spot is very low, but it is the shutdown on the Gnar, but they are too low to take the Baron. At least that.
Yes, that was definitely a very greedy Baron try from Brother of the Red Line. They did take out the Graves, and they definitely want to take him out, and that went quite well for them. However, I think the doing Baron was too greedy there, because as you said, they got the debuff and they just got destroyed afterwards by Outplay eSports.
Yeah, and I feel like that's always, if you are the team starting the Baron and getting that Baron debuff on yourself, that's really that can really cost you the team fight around the Baron. Oh, now we have Ginge here trying to look for a little bit of damage, but yeah.
It could have gone really bad if Aphelios' route had gone through just barely a millisecond earlier. I think he would have died, because with Morgana and Ari there, I don't think he would have escaped anytime soon.
Yeah, but then again, he is really behind with his LeBlanc, and he has to look for these picks at this stage of the game, because later on they won't be possible at all anymore, and he will lose more and more relevance with his LeBlanc the later the game goes on.
Yes, and I guess that's also where Brother might have an edge. I feel like Ari is stronger in team fights. I mean, I feel like Ari is definitely stronger in team fights than LeBlanc is. Her Q doing AoE damage. And yeah, so Baron is still up. And we can see that Brother of the Red Line is going towards that said Baron.
Yeah, and they once again, they are the team starting this Baron, and Outplay eSports is up entirely. However, Kled is still on the top bot lane. He does have TP up, but he's decided to run. This ultimate, that might be a good position. Aphelios is already really low here on the bot lane. Deploys his ultimate now, but he goes down, and so does Rakan and Xayah for Outplay eSports. This is a really close fight, and Outplay eSports, they seem in the worst spot here. And Brotherhood of the Red Line this time around with a really decent shine. Nice Q immediately from Morgana, binding the Kled to his position, and now they can freely take this Baron for themselves. LeBlanc is the only one left of Brotherhood of the Red Line, and now wants to take care of that, or at least force her to go back here. And now Brotherhood of the Red Lines, after a first try that was quite not working out for them, they finally got that Baron for themselves now. And now we have to see what they can do with it. How much can they get out of this Baron, and how good will Outplay eSports defend this?
Yes, they're already putting a lot of pressure on mid lane. Yes, however, the enemy's team is spawning, and they're forced to fall back a bit.
Yeah, and Na would need a reset actually. He didn't go back after the
And he does have 2,300 gold in his pocket. As is Kane is also at 2,000 gold in the pocket, so they definitely should go back and get themselves some nice items here before going back at it.
Yeah, and that's what they are also doing and what they had to do, because there was no Drake coming up, but it is not so long until it will come up, and they have to secure that vision around it now. And as we know, as the game later on, even vision is a thing you want to fight about, especially on this level of gameplay.
Yes, I think especially when looking at it outplay, if they get the Drake, they're gonna get the Soul too. And the Dragon Soul is never to be underestimated. It's always a very good buff for your team.
Yeah, and I feel like, especially for a team like the one of Outplay Esports, movement speed is also something of key, because they're in the position to defend now, so being able to move around faster is very important. But also with the Clad and the Graves that you like to set up on the side lanes and push as in a 1v1 formation, it is really useful to have that additional movement speed.
Yeah.
But now, Brotherhood of the Red Lions was able to secure that mid lane tower. How much more can they get out of this Baron? Feels like they're being pushed back here.
And it seems like they're always waiting for Gnar's mega form until they can really push against them. And then whenever it goes down, they seem to fall back a bit. But
Oh, and Ari with the flash inside Clad is the one focused here, and he is already really low. He goes down to the Gnar, and Gnar flashes behind. He wants that Graves go down, but I feel like they shouldn't want too much now. That's the situation they've lost before. Yeah, go for the inhibitor. Play that safely with your Baron. And that's Brotherhood of the Red Lions. Now with a nice engage again from the Gnar, taking out the team, but Brotherhood of the Red Lion is also in a tough position. And oh, Graves, that's too deep for you, my friend. And Kane on the other side is also in a deep position, but he is the one dealing a lot of damage here. And Brotherhood of the Red Lions, ladies and gentlemen, they are taking the second game against Outplay Esports. What a turnaround. The second game goes to them, a 1-1.
Wow.
And Outplay Esports finally has found someone that they can be, or that they cannot beat all the time.
Wow. What a match, ladies and gentlemen. And what a confrontation too. So yeah, Outplay Esports is no longer unbeaten during this season. They got one loss, and yes, I think that's definitely going to be very interesting if they play against each other again later on in the playoffs. Oh
Yeah,
man.
and some people were already calling it in the chat, this is gonna be the finals, and honestly, I feel like it could be. And I feel like there's no other team really in the league that is playing on this level of gameplay. We have a lot of good teams in the league. Thinking about Corona Difference and Royal Family, who, by the way, are going to play tomorrow. But yeah, this is just a step higher.
Yeah, damn, man. I mean, that's I'm really happy about this match. We have Brotherhood of the Red Line, who finally truly showed what they're able to do. They definitely were on top of their game there, taking the second match, driving it home against Outplay Esports. And yeah, that was the match, I think, up to now from this season.
Definitely. I feel like that's the games that, as a caster, they give me chills. Like, it's
Yeah. I also had goosebumps at the end of this match. That was really an intense match, guys. Really beautiful too. Both teams played really well. I think that was really great.
Whew.
But yeah.
So I definitely need a little break and a sip of water after that.
Same.
So I guess we're gonna go into a short break now, and in that break we're gonna try to get Ginge on the phone or on the Discord to have a little after the games interview with us, and I think he will have a lot to say about this last confrontation or this last game.